Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hello Word. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled you're joining me today for another dive into the fascinating world of English vocabulary. Our word of the day is compile. Now, compile is a verb, and it means to gather information or material into one place or form. It often suggests a careful and systematic collection. Think of it as bringing together various pieces to create a complete whole. You might compile a list, compile data, or even compile your thoughts. We often use it when referring to complex or extensive collections. So, instead of simply saying you gathered some documents, you might say you compiled them into a report. This adds a layer of formality and suggests a more organized process. Let's look at some synonyms to better understand the nuances of compile. One synonym is assemble. For example, the team worked tirelessly to assemble the final report before the deadline. Another synonym is amass. Think of amassing a fortune or amassing evidence. For example, the detective amassed a significant amount of evidence against the suspect. We could also use collect. The historian collected oral histories from veterans of the war. While collect is similar, compile suggests a more structured and deliberate process than simply gathering. Consider accumulate. Dust tends to accumulate on surfaces if they aren't cleaned regularly. While something can be accumulated passively, compiling requires active effort. And finally, let's consider collate. The librarian carefully collated the pages of the ancient manuscript. Collate is particularly useful when referring to organizing pages or documents in a specific order, similar to one aspect of compiling. Now, let's flip the script and look at some antonyms, words with opposite meanings. One antonym of compile is disperse. Instead of bringing things together, disperse means to scatter. For example, the crowd began to disperse after the concert ended. Another antonym is scatter. Similar to disperse, scatter suggests a lack of order or organization. The wind scattered the leaves across the yard. We also have separate. The recycling plant separated the materials into different categories. Separate implies dividing something into its constituent parts, directly opposing the act of gathering to compile. Another antonym is divide. The teacher divided the class into small groups for the project. And finally, dismantle is a strong antonym. The construction crew dismantled the old bridge. Dismantling means to take something apart, the very opposite of compiling. So, how can you use compile in everyday life? Well, imagine you're planning a trip. You might compile a list of things to pack. Or, if you're researching a topic for school, you might compile information from various sources. A journalist might compile notes from interviews for a news article. A chef might compile a collection of their favorite recipes. A musician might compile an album of their best songs. A programmer compiles code into an executable program. In everyday conversations, you might say, "I need to compile my expenses for this month." Or, "She's compiling a playlist for the party." A common expression is to compile a report, meaning to create a report by gathering and organizing information. Here are a few more sentence examples. The researchers compiled data from several studies to support their hypothesis. The editor compiled the anthology of short stories. He compiled a detailed inventory of his possessions. The committee compiled a list of recommendations for the city council. I need to compile my tax documents before April 15th. Remember, compile implies a deliberate and organized effort to bring things together. Today we learned that compile is a verb meaning to gather information into one set. We explored synonyms like assemble, amass, collect, accumulate, and collate, and antonyms like disperse, scatter, separate, divide, and dismantle. We also saw how compile is used in everyday conversations and common expressions. Thanks so much for joining me on Hello Word today. I hope you found this episode helpful. Before you go, please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. And if you're enjoying the show, please leave a review. Your support helps others find Hello Word and continue their English language journey. Now, I have a challenge for you. Create your own sentence using the word compile and share it as a comment under this video. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep saying hello to new words.